Hi, welcome to Promo Insiders, an ASI Media podcast covering the topics that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm executive editor Sarah Lavandusky, and today I'm joined by Maria Brady, owner of Marakae Marketing in Pittsburgh. Several years ago, Maria had a serious health diagnosis, and she's here today to discuss her journey and how she balanced self-care and self-advocacy with running her business during this challenging time. So thank you, Maria, for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for the article that you included me in for the last ASI issue. I appreciate that, and it's always good to share one's insight with others because we're all here on a journey, and if we can help each other, it's a serious added bonus.
Agreed. Yes. Yes, I agree. To that end, can you tell us a bit about the recent health journey you've been on and how that's kind of shaped your mindset moving forward?
Well, fortunately, I always had a mindset of resiliency, and I credit my parents for that because they were two very positive people. And I do realize that not everybody was blessed with that. So I give them a lot of credit. But in 2013, I was just very fatigued and, running a business and teenagers. And sadly, my mom had dementia at the time. But that instinct was something was wrong. And so through a lot of testing, I ended up with a rare cancer diagnosis called Waldenstrom's. It's a subset of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's a blood cancer. And so at that time, the physician was rather abrupt and said to me, "Well, you have about 5 to 7 years to live, and it's treatable, but incurable. And we'll see you next week for chemo." And I was like, whoa, that's just way, way too much to process. And so I chose to focus on the word treatable and went to get another opinion, to which I was said, you need to take a wait and see approach. There aren't a lot of options for your type of cancer. So you want to wait till you progress a little bit more before we start that journey. So from 2013 to 2019, when I began treatment, I was very private about it. There were very few friends that even knew. And I just felt being the face of the company, I did not want any clients to fear that I couldn't meet a deadline or I couldn't support their event. My employees knew, but I just chose to really hold that tightly. And it's been rewarding now that, I've met you and I've shared my story and was asked to co-author a book, where I just had this aha moment of it's just time to let it go.
Hmm. That's beautiful. Yeah, it must have been very it's a lot to put on somebody when you get a diagnosis like that, and it's very difficult news. So during this time, like you said, for this was 2013, so you were dealing with this, but you really kept it close to the vest. Like
Mhm.
you weren't telling a lot of people, disclosing about it,
Mhm.
right? And so but at the same time, you were leading your team. I mean, you have a business. So how did you kind of reset things so you could focus on your personal needs and still be a leader for your team?
I was really fortunate that I didn't have a lot of symptoms because my health choices were very good. I eat well every day. I exercise. Um, so I didn't need that treatment until 2019. But then at that point, I have this great team who stepped up, took over some of my responsibilities. They're very independent thinkers. I'm not a micromanager. They don't need to be micromanaged. So I'm very fortunate in that respect. And from balancing that personal work life health situation now, I chose to do treatment on a Thursday. So then Friday I could work part of the day and then really rejuvenate over the weekend and get back in to the office during the week. And there were times where I was doing immunotherapy and chemotherapy that you would just be so confused. Like your thought process, it's like three times you're looking at an email and that brain fog. But, you just learn you can't multitask. Like you can't drink, type, and talk at the same time. That wasn't happening. So it just really allowed you to focus.
And one of the things I remember very clearly from our conversation for that article that really stuck with me was, the importance of being your own advocate
Mhm.
and the fact that you did go to get a second opinion. After you had the initial diagnosis and it was very jarring, you made the decision to go get a second opinion, and you really took control of that process. So, can you talk to us a little bit about the importance of self advocacy, whether that's in self care, whether it's in business? Like, what is the importance of that, and how essential is that to, progressing forward and reaching your goals?
It self advocacy is so important, and any business owner knows like you have to speak up. You can't be afraid to go for it, so to speak, whether it's in a sales environment where you're going to knock on that door and you're going to find out if somebody wants your promotional product or the idea that you're selling. But it's the same when you're knocking on the door of a physician. They're part of your team. You need to interview them. Your insurance dollars, your copays are going to spend well no matter where you go. But what's the most important is the outcome for you and how you feel about that. Bedside manner is important, but I would definitely go for the facility that is registered or an expert in your care in the type of illness that you have. And also, if you like the integrative approach, which I am not giving medical advice, I just know that it worked for me to combine the holistic modalities with your traditional treatments and that mind body spirit connection, it is huge. And sadly, I did not know that was an option at my facility until a year after I stopped treatment and found out that it was literally down the hall, even though I'm asking, what other foods can I be eating? What other supplements can I be taking? So, really do your research and learn what is out there. There's so many. And I highly recommend Heal, Heal. It was a Netflix documentary, and it really started my journey into opening my mind to the other possibilities that embrace Western medicine with Eastern medicine.
hmm And along those same lines, you have been, I know, for a long time, a huge proponent of cultivating a positive mindset.
Mhm.
How did that come into play during this journey? Have you always tapped into the power of that? The power of positive thinking, is that part of your philosophy even before all of this happened?
Yes, it has. Again, just going back to how I was raised and just educating my kids and empowering them that the glass is not half full. I mean, it is always half full. It's not half empty. Um, and just trying to find that sunshine because there's something positive to be found in every situation. And it's a shifting of the mindset. And I believe that resiliency can be learned over time. Your brain's a muscle. It just like you work your abs or your legs to get stronger, work your brain, shift that mindset. And again, there's YouTube videos. I mean, on a Saturday, I'm cleaning and doing laundry, like all these great providers of such holistic information, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Kelly Goris, like Dr. Sue Morter. They're all out there, and just start bombarding yourself with this information, and it's life changing. It truly is.
That's wonderful. I love that. And finally, what are a few important lessons to sum up that you'd like to impart to our listeners? Some takeaways from your experience.
Um, Going back to what you said for self advocacy, have a voice. Share your feelings. It's very important. I could be an advocate for other people, and it took me a while to be that advocate for myself, and it's still a learning process.
hmm
Know your facts about your illness, whether, I always say it was something like, if you don't make time for your health, you're going to make time for your illness. And I've seen that pop up on Facebook and a few other places, and it's really true. And when, I'm in addition to promotional products, we're a brand firm. So I do consulting and I'm billable by the hour. And so when I was starting adding up like how many hours I'm in the treatment room and how many hours you're losing of work, like it became staggering. But then you turn it and say, okay, I'm now going to dedicate that hour every day to myself, to meditate, to run, to look up a new recipe, to engage something differently to stimulate your mind. And so, again, it's just that positive mindset of finding what's right for you. Um, but getting that second opinion, following your gut instinct is huge. And there's a great book called Radical Intuition, and I'm taking Kim's class to be certified intuition practitioner. Intuition's huge for all of us in business. I mean, you just know that gut feeling if a project's going to run right, if a person's going to be that good fit for you as a client, and that can apply to your own healing modality as well.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you, Maria. We really appreciate your time today. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. And for more health and wellness best practices, please visit asicentral.com/news. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much. Blessings to all. Be happy.